Ian, you ready?
Duties.
Yeah, I'll just take care of that. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. We're the Owatonna School Board. This is Monday. It's January 23rd, 5:30. I'm going to call this meeting to order. In Eric's absence, Eric is not here, and I had not heard from Deborah. I hope everything's okay. Let's hope that she makes her way in. With that, let's start our night with the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, before we get going tonight, we have the benefit of a new member to the school board. Elizabeth Hedlund was recently elected, and tonight is her first meeting. And as is the past history, I am going to read a brief introduction, and Elizabeth will read an oath of the office. But with that, we are going to introduce Elizabeth. And Elizabeth, it's an honor that you were elected to guide the education of our community's children. As you recite your oath of office, you assume a tremendous responsibility, and as a director of our school district with the duties empowered by the Minnesota legislature. This power puts you and the other members of our school board in the position of being both morally and legally responsible for equitable, quality education of every student in the district. In carrying out this responsibility, you'll be asked to fulfill the roles of vision, structure, accountability, and advocacy. In providing vision, the board, with extensive participation of the community, envisions the community's educational future and then formulates the goals, defines the outcomes, and sets the course for the public schools. To achieve the vision, the board establishes a structure and creates an environment designed to ensure all students the opportunity to attain their maximum potential through a sound organizational framework. Because as a board, we must be accountable to the community. We must ensure a continuous assessment of student achievement and all conditions affecting the education of our children. As board members, we serve as education's key advocate on behalf of students and our community schools to advance the vision of our schools. Furthermore, we must strive to work together with the superintendent and staff to lead the district toward fulfilling the vision we have created, fostering excellence for every student in the areas of academic skills, knowledge, citizenship, and personal development. With that, I'm going to turn things over to you for your portion of the oath.
Having signed the acceptance of office and oath of office, I hereby publicly affirm my commitment to the oath of office. I swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of this state, and that I will discharge faithfully the duties of the office of School Board Member of Independent School District number 761 to the best of my judgment and ability.
Elizabeth, thank you very much and welcome. Board forum is going to come up in just a second, and when we reach that point, I've asked Elizabeth to take a second and do just a brief introduction. So with that, next up would be to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor with an aye?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Item 5 tonight, I'm going to turn over to Mr. Elstad for our mission moment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. It is my privilege tonight to announce three of our 4 that are here tonight. The first 2 I'd like to have come up to the podium, please, are Ethan Armstrong and Aubriana Work. Ethan and Aubriana have been nominated for the Excel Award, which is an award sponsored by the Minnesota State High School League and recognizes high school juniors who are active in fine arts and/or athletic activities, who demonstrate leadership qualities and who are model citizens in their community. Each high school in the state can nominate 1 junior boy and 1 girl for the Excel Award. Excel Award recipients will be selected by an independent panel of judges from schools around the state, and those award recipients will be announced via the league website on February 6th of 2023. Now a little bit about Ethan and Aubriana. Aubriana Work, who is a junior, as you have to be a junior, is active in National Honor Society. She is the vice president of the OHS Key Club, Mock Trial, Peer Tutoring, Shock, Link Crew, DECA, and is also on the honor roll and participates in soccer, basketball, and track and field. Whew.
Right, yes.
And she's also a member of the band and plays in the pep band as well. Not only is she active in school, but she actively participates in the community, including Meals on Wheels, Big Brothers Big Sisters, National Honor Society Blood Drive Youth Soccer Camp, Medford Elementary Summer School Teacher Assistant Family Reading Night, Vincent's Table, Steele County Safe and Drug-Free Coalition Youth Board Representative, and is a volunteer in her church. Join me in honoring Brianna to be this year's Female Excel Award winner. Ethan Armstrong. Ethan Armstrong is involved in National Honor Society school newspaper, is a weight room assistant, and is also on the honor roll. Ethan's involved in football, basketball, and baseball. He's also in choir and sings in a tenor ensemble, and was a member of Carolers. Not only is he active in school, but Ethan also is active outside of school, including Big Brothers Big Sisters, Toys for Tots, Out of the Darkness, which is a suicide prevention program, church volunteer, acolyte, youth basketball camp, Little Huskies football camp, and is a baseball umpire. Please join me in honoring Ethan Armstrong. Both of you have clearly lifted up what the Excel Award winner is all about, and that includes citizenship and leadership, as well as excellence. And I can't be more proud of you, and I wish you both the best as you head on to state competition for this award. I do want to thank Mr. Ochterkirk and the coaching staff and staff at OHS for lifting these two individuals up, because we have great people, great students, again, representing OHS. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will now move on to the AAA award winners. I'll ask Nils Ganter to come forward. And while Nils is coming forward, I will mention to you that the AAA award was established in 1988. It acknowledges a male and female high school senior with a 3.0 or higher GPA who participates in league-sponsored athletic programs and fine arts activities such as theater, speech, and music. The AAA award recipients are selected through a multi-level process involving members of the league, Owatonna High School, the league's administrative regions, Region 1AA, and a special committee of educators, business leaders, and members of the fine arts and athletics community at the state level. This year's winners are Nils Ganter and Annika Moran. Let me start with Annika, who actually couldn't be here tonight because she's participating in a girls' basketball game tonight, which is away. Annika, her awards and activities at OHS include a four-year member of band, a section leader for 1 year, orchestra 2 years, girls cross-country team 4 years, team captain 1 year, girls basketball team 4 years, team captain 1 year, girls lacrosse team 2 years, team captain 1 year, all conference 2 years. Annika plans to attend Quincy University and majoring in chemistry, and although she is not here, I'd like everyone to join me in applause for Annika Moran. Nils has been a frequent member of the Mission Moment. He's had a good senior year so far. But I'd like to lift up some of Nils' awards and activities here at OHS. Nils is a National Merit semifinalist, a band member for 4 years, choir for 4 years, boys soccer 4 years, a team captain for 2 of those. He's been also all-conference for 2 years in soccer. Boys basketball for 4 years and was a state participant last year. Boys tennis team for 3 years, where he was named all-conference 2 years. Nils plans to attend the University of Minnesota, majoring in systems and industrial engineering. I'd like you to join me in just honoring Nils Ganter for being this year's Male AAA Award winner. Nils, you were here probably a month or 2 ago, actually, when we lifted you up as a National Merit semifinalist. You too embody all of the excellence that we're looking for in Owatonna High School students and in our school district. Thank you for your excellence, and thank you for striving to be excellent every single day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Elstad. Tough to top that one next month, won't it?
It will be, but we keep coming with them, so
Sure
I'm
do.
very proud of the students and staff we have here. Thank you.
It's nice to see. Item 6 tonight is public forum, and this is a good opportunity to remind everyone of the importance of meeting decorum. We do not allow slander, defamation, profanity, personal attacks, or revelations of private data. And as chair, I respectfully request that the public refrain from interrupting speakers during the public forum. You'll be provided 3 minutes. Ask to state your name and the subject you wish to address. We have 2 cards, and the first is Jessica Wagner. Ms. Wagner, come on up. 3-minute timer. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening. I am here as the proud advisor of OHS Magnet, and I asked my kids what they would like me to tell the school board about what they're doing today, and we have 2 members in the audience that I'm very proud of. My editors wanted me to tell you about all the great things they're doing. They are publishing 10 to 15 stories a week on OHS Magnet. They have been nationally recognized for the last 8 years, and they are in the pursuit of being nationally recognized again this year. At the state conference, they were best in show. That is amazing. Best in show in October, and they have not turned back. They have worked very, very hard. And so they wanted me to kind of just share a little bit about the newsroom experience and the work that they are doing, but also the opportunities that are provided through ISD 761 as part of Magnet staff. I have 2 students, one who worked for Owatonna People's Press last summer as a stringer. I have had 4 kids work for Steele County Times as photographers and writers. I have also had a student who took her capstone Pathways capstone portfolio to her college and is now working for their athletics department at St. Ben's. So the things that our students are doing awesome. They're just doing awesome things, and they wanted to thank you for your support and also appreciate the freedoms that you have given them as part of the school board. And our social media is taking off and doing great things. And if you want to know what student run, just check out our TikTok. 100%. But thank you for your time tonight. I just wanted to spotlight what was going on in our building.
Ms. Wagner, thank you. Our second card is from Roger Wasek. Roger, good evening.
Good evening. Topic is conservation and carbon footprints. At the end of the last Steele-Waseca Soil and Water Conservation District Board meeting, I read a few excerpts from a USDA NRCS, which is the United States Department of Agriculture, Natural Resources Conservation Service booklet I had gotten years ago from the Soil and Water Conservation Office titled Conquest of the Land Through 7,000 Years. Conquest of the Land Through 7,000 Years is Dr. Walter Clay Loudermilk's personal report of a study he made in 1938 and 1939. Loudermilk studied the record of agriculture in countries where the land had been under cultivation for hundreds, even thousands of years. His immediate mission was to find out if the experience of these older civilizations could help in solving the serious soil erosion and land use problems in the United States, then struggling with repair of the Dust Bowl and gullied salt. Fast forward to the land of milk and honey, further on in the booklet. We crossed the Jordan Valley as did Joshua and found the Jordan River a muddy and disappointing stream. We looked at the promised land as it is today, 3,000 years after Moses described it to the Israelites as a land flowing with milk and honey. We found the soils of the red earth washed off the slopes to bedrock over more than half the upland area. These soils had lodged in the valleys where they were still being cultivated and are still being eroded by great gullies that cut through the alluvium heavy rain. Fast forward to today, where fossil fuel tillage has accelerated the erosion process. Soil and Water Conservation calls the black snowbanks we see every spring snert, snowbanks with dirt. After huge rain events, grassed waterways become mudways. Besides erosion, fossil fuel tillage equipment has a big carbon footprint, and bare soil literally has its organic matter burned away. So rather than the soil sequestering carbon, it becomes a carbon dioxide emitter. This begs the question of how much of this environmental science do we teach in science today, and is any of this environmental science taught in future Farmers of America's FFA class? Thank you.
Mr. Wasek, thank you. As we move on, item 7 tonight is general information, and in your board packet was the enrollment report. Do any of you have any questions for Mr. Elstad with regard to the information you found in your enrollment report? Okay, hearing none. We're going to move on. Item 8, no action required by the board here. The first would be board forum. Jolene, I'm going to start down on your end. Any issues for board forum tonight?
No issues, but Saturday I went to the Big 9 dance team competition. I learned a lot, let me tell you. Like, a lot. There's athletes, and then there's athletes. They were phenomenal. It was super fun to watch. They did great. I learned also that Owatonna typically has the largest following of friends and family members and cheerleaders in the audience, and so it was super cool. They did a great, great job. It was a ton of fun. Yeah. So.
Nothing? Just a couple things. I assume, Mr. Elstead, you'll probably comment more, but I attended the C meeting virtually, to learn more about what the legislative activity is as it relates to schools, which is exciting, and I'll let Mr. Elstead give you the details. And then the policy committee was hard at work, and you'll hear more about that in a short while.
Very good. For board forum tonight, I have this. Number one is to remember our work session, which is the first of our 2 monthly meetings. The work session is going to actually move back over to the district office and take place in the boardroom, where we can have a better opportunity to position the tables and chairs to work with one another as well as those that are presenting to us. So please remember, work session moves back over to the district office beginning in February. Judging by all of the administrative reports, the professional development day looked as though it was quite a big success. Virtually every school commented on the level of success that they seem to enjoy with that. I'm going to mention just briefly the District Curriculum Advisory Committee, which Tim and I sit on, met, and there are some new classes that are going to become available, and Mr. Elstad and Ms. Krell are going to talk about that. And then the last thing that I noticed, OHS is doing Shrek. The next play, and that looked pretty cool. Tim, anything for board forum?
As just starting my second tour on the policy committee, I am going to give you just a slight update. Most policies that are presented for first reading were just minor updates or legal references. There are 2 that are a little more interesting. The school board committee's policy 213. We did some work to try to be very clear about what is a board committee, what is a district committee, and what is an external committee where we need representation. So if you see those things, that's what's going on there, and it was just an attempt to be more clear about what the committee's roles are. And then the second was student transportation, which is policy 709. And what happened with that from the model policy is we took out all the stuff that we don't have to know about, because we have Owatonna Bus Company, which is our transportation provider, and we are not a provider ourselves.
Right.
And I thank them very much after looking at the at the policy and what the things that they take on as operating the transportation service is a good deal for us.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my update.
Good. Elizabeth.
Okay, sure. I don't know how close I have to be to this thing, but my name is Elizabeth Hedlund. I am truly, truly honored to be sitting here tonight, and excited and a little bit nervous, but really looking forward to just getting to know everybody here and spending this time working for our schools and our kids and our teachers and our staff. I'm a physician assistant. That's my work, and I currently work part-time. I've been doing that for 21 years. I've been married for almost 23 years. We have 4 kids. We love Owatonna. We moved here in 2016, and we absolutely love it. So thank you for welcoming me and letting me be here.
Thank you. Haley.
As Mr. Sebring said, the musical is Shrek this year. I'm playing keyboards in the pit, which will be really fun. Rehearsals have started for it, so it's a really big production, I think bigger than some of the other shows they've done before, so it's going to be really cool.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Chase.
We have started, well, at least there's a new semester coming, so I have a lot of different classes that I'm dealing with, so that's kind of interesting for me, experiencing different classes at Owatonna. The more I become a junior and more I develop in high school, I'm starting to realize that there's a lot of things I'm grateful for earlier on, and certain things I was gained earlier on that I couldn't do without.
Thanks, Chase. Item one underneath of board forum is the policy revisions, and so this is a good opportunity. Tim just did a nice job of introducing that, but this is a first reading, and it's an opportunity for everybody. If you had any questions relative to what you saw within the policies, this is a good opportunity to ask. Anybody have any questions?
I've got a comment on the school meals policy, 534. I got 2 phone calls today from community members that read it, and we made some adjustments to get rid of a potential practice of if a student has a negative fund balance, they would get an alternate meal. That's not our practice. That is not the intent. Regardless of what the fund balance is, they get a regular meal. We thought we made that more clear in the policy adjustment, and it appears we did not. And so in talking with the community members, they were great. They were super supportive. They said, I think that's what your intent was, but that wasn't my takeaway. And so as a policy committee, we need to pull that one back and look at it again, just to clarify and make sure we're communicating what we're doing. So we'll add that back to our meeting next time for
All right.
policy.
Do we have any questions relative to policy? All right, thanks for the update there. I'm going to turn things over to Mr. Elstad for the administrative report.
If I may, Mr. Chair, members of the board, make a couple of comments about policies that were alluded to by both Mr. Jensen and Ms. Mose. The policy in reference that Ms. Mose was talking about is policy 534. And within that school meals policy, this happened about 6 years ago, actually, when I came to the school district. We changed that practice where students are given a normal meal regardless of their lunch balance. We are not, you may have heard in the media about some lunch shaming and things that have gone on. That's never happened here at Owatonna. And we would never do that to our students, and we work with families through those situations where they need to take care of lunch balances. Perhaps, as I mentioned in my legislative report tonight, we can wipe away all of those concerns about having outstanding meal balances moving forward. However, I just want to make reference that we have had a practice for a long time, and I think the intention of the policy committee was to help marry practice and policy together. So, and then likewise, policy 709, which is our student transportation policy, you'll note in there, there were a number of pieces, as Mr. Jensen alluded to, that were strike out. The board's policy really looks at the actual policy itself about how we're contracted, things like that. The actual practice or the pieces within the discipline, we treat all of our school buses as an extension of the classroom. So you'll notice in that it's cross-referenced with policy 506, which was our student discipline policy. All of our discipline practices are put into student transportation as well. So if there's an issue on a bus, we walk right through that protocol about using our student discipline policy, leading up to and including complete dismissal from transportation services. Transportation is a privilege, not a right. And so we want students to recognize that and make sure that they are being respectful riders on our buses. So those were the two I just wanted to lift up. And then as, well, the 213 I think Mr. Jensen discussed. I would like to actually, as per your reference, Mr. Chair, ask Michelle Krell to step to the podium. We have a number of new and exciting courses that are really further aligning our work with career pathways and preparing our students for career college, to be career and college ready. And so, Ms. Krell, please talk about that.
Absolutely. Well, I'm excited. In January, our district curriculum advisory committee met, and January is the month where we always look at any new course proposals that might be coming forward for next school year. So we had we've actually approved 10 new courses, 2 at Owatonna Middle School and then 8 at Owatonna High School. They're all elective courses. So I just wanted to take a minute just to highlight the innovation of our staff. So first, I want to give kudos to our staff because they've done a great job of really thinking about how can we align our career pathways to opportunities and also making a connection with our community. So at the middle school, the 2 new courses, we have a American Sign Language course that's going to be taught. When we first were looking at the middle school model, there was a lot of surveying that was done with families and with students, and sign language was something that was really high on a priority list when it comes to different types of languages. And so we now have a teacher that is able to teach that and has proposed that course. So I think we're really excited about that opportunity for our middle school students. And then at the middle school, our other course that was proposed and approved was a unified PE course. And so this is really cool. Actually, Duluth just had an article in the newspaper about they have a unified PE course. And what does that mean? That means that we would be combining students with special needs with regular ed students who have an interest in supporting our students with disabilities. And so it's kind of an exciting course, a great opportunity for our students to really mix together and learn from one another. Hopefully some of these students might say, I want to be a special ed teacher, and we can help you with that with our Grow Your Own program as well. So those are the two new courses of the middle school. And then when we look at our high school, we have a plethora of new offerings along the Health and Human Services pathway. We have a Foundations in Emergency Care. And this is going to be a course where students will learn first aid and CPR and the AED, and actually in the end be certified using the CPR and AED machines and be ready to go. And then what we hope to do is eventually turn this into then the following year looking at a emergency medical technician program through Riverland and being able to help provide some of that, because we know that that's a need in our community as well. So that's an exciting new course that's offered. And then we have a web and computer animations course, which sounds super fascinating. It really helps students understand careers and growth opportunities in the field of animation, web animation, and combining animation with digital marketing. And so I believe that Mr. Sikora has a program that will actually give each student a job, and then they would be doing the marketing and the web animation and all of that for a particular industry. And so really exposing students to that opportunity in the job force, in the job market. Then we are working in collaboration with the Owatonna Fire Department, which we're super excited about. We are going to be offering a Firefighter 1 first semester, a Firefighter 2, and Hazmat second semester. And so with the completion of both of those courses, when students are 18 years old and they've completed those courses, they're able to take the firefighter exam and hopefully be a licensed firefighter and be able to help out our community or neighboring communities because we know there is a shortage. And so students will be in a hybrid model for this course. So there's online coursework that they will do, and then there'll be weekend drills, hands-on activities that students will spend time learning about, the basics of being a firefighter. And so we're very excited about that. We're working with Ryan Sikora at the fire department, and he is actually a Riverland. He instructs us at Riverland, so he'll be doing that for us as well. And so it's a great collaboration with our fire department. So we feel really great about that opportunity. Another course that we have that was approved is the Husky Hut with our new facility. We're going to have a school store, and so this is a great opportunity. It's part of our business and marketing pathways. So really thinking about students would be planning, marketing, and managing and doing all of the accounting activities for a school store. And so really having students, it's really an entrepreneur opportunity for students to learn how I manage my own business. So that's in a great way for us to have an opportunity for there to be a store where kids can purchase, different memorabilia, shirts, t-shirts, hats, all those great things. Another course that was approved was a AP pre-calculus course. And in this course, Mr. Benson proposed actually is a benefit to our students in that they would be able to get AP credit for this. Currently, we offer an enriched pre-calculus course, and with that enriched course, students aren't able to gain any college credit for that. But now that it's being offered in an AP style, then students would be able to meet the College Board syllabus guidelines, be able to test and get credit for that course. So that's a nice addition to allowing another opportunity for students to have college level credits. Our ag department has proposed and is going to be doing an introduction to plants, and so really following within the agronomy piece and really the foundations of teaching students the form and the function of plants. We have another exciting opportunity that we're working on that would help enhance this, that hopefully in a future meeting I'll be able to talk about, but really trying to get hands-on opportunities for students. And then the last course is a human performance course. And so this course will concentrate on students looking at careers related to health, sports performance, kinesiology, and exercise science. And so students will have the opportunity to develop and expand their knowledge in that area. They'll have the ability to identify the careers that might fall within there. It could be personal training, strength and conditioning, wellness, health, in any kind of a community-based fitness setting. So lots of exciting opportunities for our students when we come next year. So again, kudos to our staff. They're the ones that put the proposals together. In addition to that, though, I have to say the OHS staff has done a remarkable job of trying to think about their current courses and how they're aligning those with the career pathways and making relevant and authentic learning opportunities, getting students out to see the great things, the great career opportunities that we have within our community. And I think that's part of our career pathways initiative, is to ensure that our students know about the availability of jobs and occupations within our community, because we know we want them to graduate and eventually settle back here in our community and be contributing members. Any questions?
I have a quick question about the AP pre-calculus course. Would that be in addition to the one that's already there?
It would be replacing the enriched course.
So the concurrent credit that you get with the enriched course, would that not be a thing anymore?
Well, this would be a little different, because it's an enriched course coming through like Southwest State or something.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So it would be the same course, only a change in the fact that it would be AP.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So like to get college credit, you would have to take the AP test?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. All right. Any other questions?
Can board members audit
No,
courses?
doesn't it sound great? I know.
Right?
I know. Some super exciting times. Yes.
Terrific. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll continue on. Thank you, Ms. Krell, for that update. Great courses, and certainly aligning with our work to have our students be college and career ready. As Ms. Weisberger mentioned, we attended a Schools for Equity in Education, which is seeking financial equity amongst districts across the state. We were introduced to Willie Jett, who is the new commissioner of the Department of Education, and we were also introduced to Adosh Uni, who happens to be the legal expert and legislative expert for the Minnesota Department of Education. They outlined the governor's One Minnesota budget proposal that I believe was released last week. I think some of those budget targets actually are going to be released tomorrow, so there'll be actual dollars associated with it. A couple of the things within that were interesting to me. The universal meals piece is something that each year, as we just mentioned with the policy, we do have unpaid meal balances annually. When we were during pandemic time and that was relieved of us, it took a lot of time and effort away from our student nutrition services to have to try to track that down. And it became a lot easier for us to just provide meals and things. Obviously, things that are above and beyond the meal are still available for purchase. But we want to make sure all of our kids are well fed. And so the universal meals piece in Governor Walz's proposal actually references 2 meals, so both breakfast and lunch would be served within that. And certainly something we want to take a close look at. I recognize the financial pieces of it, but the benefits, I think, may outweigh any financial burden we would take on with that as a state. I've been a strong advocate for special education cross-subsidy. We have a number of programs in special education since its inception in 1975 that have really taken hold. Right now, we cross-subsidize from our general fund about $7.5 million a year to help us subsidize the special education programming and specialized program that's required. The cross-subsidy aid improvement for us, even at 50%, you can do the math, leads us to about a $3.75 million general fund put back in that we can certainly extend. Interestingly enough, if they were to go to 100%, it comes out almost to the dollar of what we're asking our local taxpayers to help pay for. And certainly, we don't want to take away those great programs that all students are able to learn. However, when I look at what we're asking our property taxpayers to pay, and interestingly enough, if you were to do a comparison across the state, it matches up very clearly with many other districts as to what their cross-subsidy stands at and what they're asking local taxpayers to fund.
Really?
So it's just an interesting happenstance there, but certainly something I'll continue to advocate for. Another piece was the inflationary increase. In school finance for years and years, we've been living off of the biennium, which means that on a biennium basis, we can't forecast our budgets any more than 2 years. We do our best to crystal ball that, but really we're looking at a 2-year. The inflationary increase that Governor Walz is proposing just really follows the indexed inflation increase that would happen, and allows us to do more long-term sustainable budgeting in school versus living every 2 years. And again, feast or famine is really hard. I recognize we do have a business to run, but I also recognize our business is making sure kids are successful. And so that's an important part. The other part that I'll be testifying on actually next week is something that's very near and dear to me, which is our equalization of funding. I've said this before, and I'll continue to pound on the table about it. In a district like Owatonna, we do not, our dollars don't buy as much as other school districts because of the inequities and the tax bracketing and so on. I'm a big proponent of making sure that it isn't more money coming to the district, but it's tax relief for our taxpayers, so that the zip code of where our students attend doesn't matter. That everyone gets the same funding, so we can do all of the things that districts that don't have to worry about tax increases can do. And we have the mechanism to do it. I think it would be, I think it's got bipartisan support. I can tell you that in speaking with Senator Jasinski and Representative Petersburg, they are definitely in support of finding ways to provide tax breaks for our taxpayers, and I think everyone would agree that it's a good move forward. So I will be testifying that on that topic next week. Then I have one other item that will be legislative. We're meeting again, and we're partnering with Riverland, the Owatonna Partnership for Economic Development, and the Owatonna Chamber of Commerce to make a funding request to the bonding committee for our Learn to Earn initiative. We are advancing our partnership with Riverland in a great way. In fact, as of next year, our medical facility within the new high school will be a shared location with Riverland. And so in the evenings, they'll be accessing that space for their medical careers program. Likewise, they are using the space that was dedicated to nursing and medical careers at Riverland. They're going to be converting that into a mechatronics lab, which is advanced manufacturing, robotics, electrical work. We would like to continue to ask to have some equipment, not only at the new Owatonna High School, but also at Riverland, that would continue to advance that effort so that we can do they can do customized training, but also our students can start preparing for careers in advanced manufacturing during their 9th grade year and beyond. So our vision would be is that the equipment we have at OHS would allow them to do some experimental work with those sorts of things, robotics and so on. And then as they advance, they would move to a lab at Riverland where the equipment becomes more advanced. And the instructors change a bit as well. So that will be going. We're requesting about $1 million. And so we'll see where that lands. But where there's a will, there's a way. And I appreciate the partnership that those agencies I mentioned provided for us. And lastly, I think I mentioned this in my notes to you. I've been asked to sit on the selection and search committee for the new president at Riverland Community College. We had our orientation last week. Coming up here in late February, we'll be meeting again to see the list of candidates. And I believe it's the first week in March is when we're doing face-to-face interviews and in some cases web interviews with those candidates. So that's my report tonight. Thank you.
I have one question. Mr. Elstead, can you remind me, I think that $1 million bond that you're seeking, that's the one that was just right on the edge of being passed last session, right?
Yeah.
And so are you resurrecting essentially the same, or?
It's a bit of the same. We were able actually, Riverland is going to be braiding some federal funding that they received from a congressional committee and from Senator Smith and from Senator Klobuchar. So we're going to be able to braid some of that funding together, which will allow us then to, for Riverland to have a little bit more buying power. It allows us though to, and of course the cost of everything when we first put the proposal together, things are up by 10, 15, almost 20%, especially in the equipment. And so we're kind of advancing that budget accordingly. But yes, the premise is the same, that we're building the same vision together. It's just that we're back at it asking again, and we were so close, in fact, to the point where I was getting ready to prepare a press release that would have talked about, but we were so close. And when meeting with Senator Jasinski and Representative Petersburg before they went to session, they were big advocates to bring that back again. So we're doing so.
Great.
Any other questions? Hearing none? Thank you. Thanks.
Yep.
Item 9 tonight would be the consent agenda. The quick reminder here is we are approving the minutes from the meeting on December 12th as well as January 9. Disbursement and personnel report. Is there any reason that we would need to pull any of these out and vote on them separately? Hearing none. We'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? It's a roll call vote, and I'll take care of that. Jolene?
Aye.
Deborah?
Aye.
Lori?
Aye.
Mark? I'm an aye. Tim?
Aye.
Elizabeth?
Hi.
That motion carries. Thank you. Item 10 tonight would be gifts to the district. And I'm turning this back over to Mr. Elstad with a question. Was there some sort of a public request for the Angel Fund? Because it appeared as though there were a fair number of, and there were nice gifts, but it was members of the community that had gone out of their way to send some money into this Angel Fund. Was there some sort of a request? Do you remember?
No, there wasn't a formal request, and I believe it's circumstantial or happenstance that we had a number of these come forward, but I also think some of it might be associated with year-end giving for families, but also a recognition that for some families, economy is hard. And so they recognize this. We have an incredibly philanthropic community, and I can't thank people enough for their generous gifts, because these gifts are allowing our students to, in some cases, pay off unpaid meal balances where the family is struggling to do so, and likewise, some for students to be in activities and so on. And so it's nice to know that those are out there. We do work with Mr. Ochterkirk when it comes to activities, and he knows full well what families might need support and have made requests for scholarships. And again, very appreciative. One larger item you might notice on there is that we received a very large financial gift from the Thelma Rice estate that was given in memory of Vernon Casper and Thelma Rice. Just south of, or just close to $86,000 was given to the district, and we're looking, trying to find very specific uses for that to really honor the family in doing that. Other gifts, again, no gift is too small, including sleds to Wilson Elementary. Last week they had a sledding opportunity. Interesting enough, it was a sledding opportunity for the first time for some kids. And to see the smile on their faces, they were wet and snowy and had a great time, but what just a unique opportunity for them to be with their friends and to do that activity. So again, I could go down the list, but just incredibly grateful for all of the gifts and donations that come to our district.
That's fabulous. Lori, it appears as though you have that. Would you mind?
Yep. I move that the board approve the resolution for acceptance of gifts as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, one more time. This is a roll call. Jolene?
Aye.
Deborah?
Aye.
Lori?
Aye.
I am an aye. Tim?
Aye.
Elizabeth?
Aye.
That motion carries as well. Item 9, 10, 11 tonight is to adjourn. I'll make the motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor with an aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thanks, folks.